there, thank you for joining me for That's the Way It Is. I'm your host, BC. Now, most of us have at least heard of the Holocaust, so you basically know what it is. That's where Hitler took the Jews and put them in concentration camps, and some horrible things happened. Some of us have read stories about it, and none of us, and a lot of us agree that that is something very, very horrible. And never would we thought we would have ever experienced anything in our lifetime like that until now. Come to find out that according to the U.S. inquiries, they have interviewed hundreds of people who are former prisoners of North Korea. Now, to me, that didn't come as a surprise, but they are acting all shocked about it. They're finding out that people are being tortured, raped, and killed there. That's right, you heard me. Tortured, raped, and killed there. And some of the ways that they're killing people is like this one lady, she goes in front of the UN and she talks about how they tied her brother to the back of a truck and drove 40 kilometers. Even though he fell down, they kept going, which would have killed anybody. And if you don't know, 40 kilometers is a mile. Man, that's horrible. Someone else talks about how they would get someone and they have them go into a room, and in that room there's two people waiting on them, and one guy's holding a rope made of rubber. And they're saying that what they would do, they could, while someone's sitting there, they could take it and like a whip, and it'd go around their neck, and they would kill that person. Man, I'm telling you, this is horrible. A lady talks about how this lady had a baby there, and how the baby would cry, and every time the baby cried, they would go and they would beat the lady, eventually forcing the lady to drown her child. That's right, they beat her and eventually forced her to drown her child. Man, see, we don't know how blessed we are. We really never know until we hear stories like this. I mean, could you imagine what that lady went through? And and even to the day, I mean, that's something she has lived with for the rest of her life. These people, they are so heartless. And you know what? And it should not come as a surprise to anyone. Any country that turns their back on the one and only God, this is what happens. And you know what? America's turning their back on God too. So don't be surprised. And I'd say 20 years from now, I mean, we're already seeing people doing horrible things to people. We already see, like, this one couple had they got married. They wasn't even married 3 weeks, and decided that she posted something on Craigslist, and this guy thought he was getting companionship. But guess what happened? They killed him. Cause this country, we took God out of schools, we took God out of government. They're talking about separation between church and state. And I'm gonna tell you what, church and state didn't start off separated. They were entwined. You can read it in any document of the United States. You can read it in the Constitution. That talks about God. So I don't know where people get their ideas from, but I'm gonna tell you what, I would not be surprised if this country does not end up in a situation like that, or putting themselves in that situation. But and it's horrible. It really is horrible. And my heart goes out to these people. Because no one should ever be treated like this. I agree with that 100%. I really do. And now the Secretary of the UN of Human Rights is saying that a lot of times they get together and all they do is talk. Well, you know what? We all knew that. A lot of times they're just there for the paycheck anyway. But he said, now time for talk is over. It's time for action. You know what? And that's fine and dandy. But this has been going on for how long now? And we've turned our back on it. And I'm not saying we should continue to turn our back on it, but I'm saying that we as the country, knowing that this is going on. I'm not saying that, like, us personally, like, we all knew exactly what was going on, but we knew that this country, number one, they was against the United States. You know, that's number one. You know, well, actually, that's number two. Number one is they're against God. You know, there's not a communist country that is for God. But anyway, what North Korea's spokesperson is saying is that the alleged report, because they're thinking that the UN is making this up, you know, to invade their country, but they're saying the alleged report, it basically is fault. And the human rights violation mentioned in the so-called report does not exist in their country. Okay, what do you expect them to say? Yeah, we're killing people, and we're torturing people, and we're having parents to kill their kids, and you know, everybody that's in these prisons, we just gave them flowers and candy for Valentine's Day, and for Christmas, you know, we opened up a big pool and tennis court and a basketball court for them. What do you expect these people to say? Now, you may be able to go out here onto the street and get a blooming idiot to believe some of the things that you're saying, but I'm not buying it. You know, and I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. I think that if nothing else, you know, someone needs to go over there and check out the stories for themselves. You know, I think that we need to go over there. I think North Korea need to allow these people to go in and talk to some of these people, find out how they're treated, and to see what the conditions are. You know, there's an artist that came from over there, has some horrified pictures of people eating snakes and rats, and them dead bodies are being laid out for the rats to eat. You know, it's the conditions from what I've seen is very, very not human. I mean, I don't see, you know what, I don't care how mean you are or how much hate you have in your heart. I still don't see how anybody can stoop that low as to treat another human being like this. You know, and you know, the Bible even tells you, you know, to love thy neighbor, and just if not even that, you know, when people are normally growing up, their parents teach you to treat others how you want to be treated. I mean, something really, really went haywire over there, and I do think that it needs to be looked into. You know, because if this is what's going on, it needs to stop. And those that have done this here need to be brought to justice. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and you have a wonderful day.